It doesn't matter who it is, Auburn, Alabama, St. John's, Arkansas, Florida is going to win the national championship in March Madness.
Honestly.
Goal was never to get the correct bracket. It's impossible. No one's ever done it, ever. But you know what the goal was?
What's the goal?
Them Florida Gators going all the way. And look, them Florida Gators do look nice. Mercury's crater, my God is greater. Your mom made all the food out the refrigerator. Give me them Gators and
Here we go with the catchphrase. Here we go. Hello, everybody. We are here at the ASN Studios, getting ready to recap the NCAA tournament. And right on cue, we had this man 5 minutes late. I don't know why he pulled up, man.
Nah, you know why? I had to make a special appearance for this. When you pick something right, like the tournament, from the very beginning all the way to now, boy, I told y'all what them Gators was going to do. I told y'all that them Gators was going to do, man.
Florida boys, they stay hot. They stay hot.
I tried to tell you guys.
The Florida boys definitely came through, winning 65-63 against the Houston Cougars. Guys, I got to get your opinions on not only the Final Four, but the tournament in general. I'm going to start with Dalit. So what was your opinions on really how the tournament came through?
Look, this was a great tournament. I loved it from start to finish. I love the tournament every time it comes around. But just when you look at this one, the public they weren't really liking it. There were no Cinderella teams. NIL has ruined college basketball transfers. No. This was beautiful basketball. One of the best defensive teams in the tournament versus one of the best offensive teams in the tournament. Florida, a 30-win team. The Cougars on a 17-game win streak. Number one teams in the Final Four and in the championship, battling out to see who's win. And then when you look at transfers, Elijah Martin, FAU, was a part of that Cinderella run back a few years back. And they just got killed in the Final Four. He had no chance. He transferred over to Florida, and now he's a national champion. L.J. Cryer, who was at Baylor on a national championship team, transferred over to Houston, and look at him back in the national championship game. Those players would have been on bad teams, or L.J. Cryer, he won. But a player like Elijah Martin, you're on a bad team, you have no chance. You go up against a UConn or you go up against a superior team, you have no chance, and now it's a bad national championship game, and we sleep by halftime. But this was great basketball all the way around. Florida coming back. I love the tournament. I love the tournament, and I love the final. And it always feels good when you get it right.
Jonathan, man, what's your retake?
My retake. Well, I had Duke going. I knew Florida was gonna go. I had Duke going up against them, but unfortunately they lost to the Cougars. And in this game, it was a great game, like Liso said. And Houston actually shut down Walter Clayton Jr., but that didn't stop the Cougars. That didn't stop the Gators at all. And looking at the game, it was Houston had 12 turnovers in the first half. So it was my bad. Florida had 12 turnovers in the first half. So it was looking a little sloppy, and I wasn't really confident, but I still had to keep my faith in these boys to be able to bring it out, and that's exactly what they did. They led for 63 seconds in the game, and when they brought it back in the fourth quarter, when they started fighting, second half, when they started bringing it back, I was like, I don't know, man. They looking like they're about to win this, and that's exactly what they did. And you also got to feel for number 21 for the
Sharp.
You got to feel for him because when you have a design play and you catch the ball, you're just already thinking that you're going to be open. And he caught the ball ready to shoot, and Walter Clayton with a great contest.
You know what they say? Defense wins championships.
Defense wins championships.
And Walter Clayton, they said you couldn't play defense.
That
Look
closeout, it altered his shot, and in the bigger picture, Florida got the dub off that. So.
Right. I first off, I gotta say congratulations to the University of Florida.
And me.
Of course.
And me. Well, me and the University of Florida.
Just the University of Florida.
Just Florida.
Those guys are the ops, man. But I gotta keep it professional. Congratulations to the Florida Gators. Definitely came out of nowhere. You know, I'm sure before the season, you know, when you say you're a college basketball champion, it wouldn't be Florida. You know, maybe win the SEC, but not the whole thing. So congratulations to them boys. My original champion was Duke, but they lost to the Houston Cougars in a choke fest. Of course,
It wasn't a bad pick. It wasn't a bad pick.
it wasn't a bad pick, but just the way they choked against Houston, man, just a utter meltdown.
It is true.
14
It was.
points
Okay,
with
yeah.
10 minutes to go in the game. Come on, like that's just ridiculous. But
Unacceptable.
when I turn my head to the actual national championship, good game. Houston choked as well, you know. So I guess they got the choke genes from Duke.
I feel like we can't say that. I feel like we have to give Florida credit because Houston could choke, but Florida's not just granted to come back in the game.
Of course. So yeah, I give Florida credit, but you can't blow a 12-point lead in the national championship. That's one thing. But I'll say this, right? Houston, and I'm looking at you, Calvin Sampson. I'm looking at Calvin Sampson originally. I'm gonna say it in the camera. Don't blame that kid, man. Emmanuel Sharp. Don't blame Emmanuel Sharp. That was all on Calvin Sampson. And let me tell you why. You got a team like Houston, just dogs, man. Just like they can offensive rebound. They love getting physical with you, nudging up on you and stuff like that. They love that brand of basketball.
Right.
Why are you drawing up a ISO kind of slip screen on the last play of game where you're like literally wasting time?
They wanted to go for the win.
No,
but
I don't have a problem. Go ahead.
But wouldn't it be wiser to crash the basket, you know, and have your tremendous offensive rebounders maybe get a putback?
Not only that, but they were in the bonus as well, so they could
Exactly.
have got yeah.
But let's be serious. Houston, right? The play right before that, Emmanuel Sharp tried to drive and they stripped it and knocked it off his leg.
But do it
The
again.
refs are swallowing their whistle. Let's be serious. The refs are not going to bail him out with a foul.
I don't agree with going to Emmanuel Sharp.
Yeah.
Like on that play, it's like I would rather Emmanuel Sharp stick to his 3-point shooter and
Literally.
rely on Cryer
Right.
to go create for himself in that type of, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Literally. So that's not on Emmanuel Sharp, man. You know, I feel bad for the kid. He's gonna live with this for the rest of his life.
But I just gotta Houston defense. They played a great defensive game. Like Walter Clayton Jr. scored his first bucket in the second half with 8 minutes to go.
He's a second half player.
Like the defense they played was great, and the energy they played with the second half was excellent. But they couldn't close it out, and it was just very unfortunate.
And this
they were on that
and this
side.
really, if you've been watching Florida the whole tournament, this speaks to who they are as a team. Florida has been down really at halftime. Each one of their games that mattered. They were up by 2 versus Maryland, I believe. They were down to Auburn. They were down to Texas Tech. They were down to Houston. I believe the UConn game was tied at halftime. But those last 3 games, I just said they were down at halftime. And they were down a good amount of deficits, like 7, 8, 9 throughout the game in the second half. But they came back and won each and every one of those games. When it came down to clutch time situation, Walter Clayton Jr. never failed to show up in the clutch. In that first half in that game against Houston, Will Richard with big shot after big shot,
Richard was
keeping
so key.
keeping the Gators in the game. And then you look at that second half. They went to that 3-guard lineup. Aberdeen, Clayton, and Will Richard. They came in sitting. They came in changing the game. Big contributions from Hawk on defense. Big contributions from Condon throughout the game.
Right.
And then you couldn't keep the sleeping giant sleeping for too long. Walter Clayton woke up. Like he said, scored his first bucket with 8 minutes left in the game. And then you see, just like that, boom, come to that lane. Boom, another screen.
But
wide
in my
open 3.
opinion, like Lisa just said, my player of the game was Mr. Aberdeen. Man, he came in off that bench.
Aberdeen came in with a
He
spark.
Was key to this
He
game.
came in playing great defense.
Great defense.
Of course, but you're
And on top of that, with some key buckets as
yeah,
well.
of course. But you're acting like Walter Clayton dropped 30 in the national.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
he's not
I'm
saying
acting
that.
like with 8 minutes left to go with the game in balance, he came in and scored 11 points.
But where was he in the first 12 minutes?
Okay, in the first 12 minutes, that's when his team was coming in.
Right.
That's when his team was
That's
helping
when
him.
Will Richard was
But
getting-
when the
getting
game was
buckets.
in the
More
balance,
threes.
he scored 11 points, 8 minutes left to go in the second half.
Hey,
helping propel
He
them.
was there when it mattered.
Flags dropping 30. That's all I'm saying.
And Flag is not making the clutch shot, which we've seen.
Caleb Love's dropping 30. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not talking about Caleb
that's all I'm
Love
saying.
or Cooper Flag when this is the day to be celebrating Florida, them Florida
Yeah,
Gators.
of course.
And shout out to Florida's head coach. I'm forgetting his name right now. He's the youngest head coach since before I was even born to win the national championship. Hats off to you and hats off to them Gators, man.
You also got to feel for them Houston Cougars, man. They've never won a championship,
Yeah.
but
This was the year to do it too.
And Kelvin Sampson been coaching.
Yeah.
He's about 70-some years old and hasn't even won a.
He's gonna succeed to his son now, man. He's
Think so?
done. But thank y'all for joining us on this special episode of the ASN. Congratulations to them Florida Gators. You know, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, especially Key West. Shout out.
Tallahassee.
Enjoy yourselves. And I'm going to just say it for now. Go Gators. Don't
Go Gators, man.
Go Gators. All right, y'all have a good one.
Thank you for watching the Ambassador Sports Network. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tap that bell so you're notified every time we post.